On October 26th, 2017, Fortnite received one of its most crucial updates yet, the Fortnite Mirrors 1.8 patch. This added a ton of new items to the Save the World version of Fortnite. However, to the player's surprise, Epic Games focused a lot more on the Battle Royale side of the game, as it was gaining significant traction and popularity. New items were added in-game that not many people thought of, and it truly wasn't a big game changer. But this update would completely shape the future of Fortnite Battle Royale and one of the leading reasons for Fortnite's longevity in the gaming scene. The biggest thing that people were excited about within this update was these skins and cosmetics. Players can now customize their character's appearance, pickaxe, glider, and also choose their banner. The one thing that people were disappointed about was just the cost of the items, which ranged anywhere from $8 to $15 just for an in-game skin that grants no competitive advantage. But see, what a lot of people didn't take into consideration is that Fortnite Battle Royale was free. Epic Games had to make money somehow, and surprisingly enough, it wasn't through pay-to-win items, which we saw like in Call of Duty and even gambling-style games like CSGO. It was a huge shift for the community, and it was nice knowing what you actually got, so the mass majority ended up buying the skins to support Fortnite. But better yet, the skins actually looked good and felt original to the game. The best part about it is, you can actually see the skin because you're playing a third-person game, unlike Call of Duty or other first-person shooters. This gave Fortnite Battle Royale the biggest consumer edge of them all. But what happens when something so successful that arguably shaped the evolutionary point of Fortnite for years slowly declines and eventually hurts the game due to the mass production and, in some instances, lower standards? This is the rise and fall of Fortnite's Item Shop. The start of Fortnite's item shop, in the best words possible, was moderate and reasonable. There were usually 2 items in the weekly shop, even though it was claimed as weekly. It lasted around 9 days. These items cost $15 to $20, and additionally, there were 6 daily items that ranged from $8 to $15. It was humble, simplistic, and it was easy to navigate for newer and returning players. It didn't feel overindulgent or excessive, and when a new weekly item or daily item came out, everyone was excited to see if there was anything new or something that hadn't returned for a while that they wanted. The biggest selling point, however, and something that shaped Fortnite the most, was the rarity of the skins. A 2000 V-Bucks skin was a gold rarity item, a 1500 V-Bucks skin was purple, a 1200 V-Bucks skin was blue, and an 800 V-Bucks skin was green. Now, I will go over the back blings, harvesters, gliders, emotes, and wraps, but honestly, it's just boring. But if you want to see it, I'll throw up a chart right here, and you can pause and take a look at what all of them cost. But this made it much easier to navigate in your locker, and if you did the math, you could easily total up your locker value by adding all these together and just subtracting out the battle pass items. I think the biggest part about skin rarity as well is that YouTubers centralized their content around the newest gold or purple skin set that released, and it was an easier visual coordination, especially in the thumbnail of a video, of the cost of the item for the viewer. We'll go more over skin rarity later because I believe that's a very important change within Fortnite's item shop. But for now, let's go over the layout and the change over time. What happened to the shop only having like a maximum of 10 items? Why did Fortnite change this, and why is it so chaotic now? The first time we saw a major item shop change was at the beginning of 2020. Fortnite had added a new tab that made it much easier to cycle through the featured, daily, and special shop offers. But there was a new tab added called limited time offers. These offers were limited to the starter packs, challenge packs, and skin bundles. However, you couldn't purchase these with V-Bucks. You had to purchase them with cash, and I think the reason Fortnite decided to do this in the first place was to see if there was even a reason to keep V-Bucks in the game. Ultimately, as we know by Fortnite today, they kept their V-Buck transaction style, which perfectly suits the game. In my opinion, and I would like to hear yours in the comments as well, this was probably one of the best modernized item shops for Fortnite. The best reason why is because when a new collaboration released, for example, Travis Scott, it was easier to navigate, and it held a certain aesthetic for any collaboration that was put into the game for the whole item shop. But keep this in the back of your mind throughout the video. Collaborations. Because it's very important for Fortnite's item shop transition for the rest of the video. Around November 10th to November 15th of 2020, a new item shop update for Fortnite rolled out for the majority of the players. A lot of the people reported the item shop looking much different, but it was only for select people. Instead of the horizontal version of the item shop, where you scrolled left to right, they now had the item shop vertical and horizontal. This meant much more room and space for cosmetics in the item shop. There were a lot of mixed opinions on Reddit, and even I remember when it first came out. The first thought in my mind was, it's not a big deal. Actually, I was waiting for this day to happen because I wanted an array of cosmetics instead of the old 10 to choose from every time and having to wait 9 days for some items to leave the shop. So yeah, I won't sit here and lie and say this change was bad. If anything, there was more demands to have more skins. So this would allow Fortnite to make 1.5x profit more each day, probably even more than that. But remember, the initial change of something that's beneficial can still have long-term negatives, depending on the way a company or individual utilizes the change. On November 3rd, 2023, Fortnite's new season changed to Chapter 4 Season OG. Fortnite had its peak player count and reverted its item shop to how it originally was in 2018. It was a great taste of fresh air having the old item shop back for a limited time, and even some old cosmetics and remix cosmetics were in the item shop. But this wouldn't last for very long, as the OG season was only for a month, and everyone knew that Epic Games would revert to its old item shop. The Big Bang event was scheduled on the last day of Fortnite Season OG. Eminem would have his own concert, but Fortnite was teasing something bigger and completely game-changing. During the trailer, we were immediately granted with what seemed to be a brand new LEGO game mode, rocket racing game mode, and a Fortnite festival mode. The hype for the next chapter was insane to say the least, but what was about to happen next would change the way that Fortnite handled its cosmetics forever, both with originality and the original focus on Battle Royale. Fortnite Chapter 5 Season 1 released on December 3rd of 2023. The item shop had fully reverted to its old vertical and horizontal layout. However, new cosmetics were available in the shop. First, it was the cars, and on release, a lot of people were very upset. Not because car skins were in the game, but the cost of them. $40 for a car skin that didn't even look good. It was downright outrageous and felt like a slap in the face to the Fortnite community. The worst part was, people actually bought it, leading Fortnite to release even more cosmetics such as guitars, drums, Lego cosmetics, even more cars, and a copious amount of bundles. It felt unnecessary and excessive. The community probably would have taken it better if each of these categories of items were released each year, but they were all laid out on the table at what felt like once. But the worst part was the rarity update. All skins and items had no more rarity except for a select few, like collaboration items and themed packs. This made it nearly impossible to find any skin in your locker, and with the amount of skins starting to accumulate in people's locker over the years, some had the range of 100 to over 2,000 skins in their lockers. Fortnite released a statement stating, "The shop has evolved significantly to support multiple types of cosmetics and items across the game. So we're retiring the old Battle Royale inspired system of colors and tags for cosmetic quality. Different series of cosmetics such as the Icon series or Gaming Legends series will still be there to help you find your favorite stuff." What many people took from this blog post was, Fortnite was working on expanding their item shop to not be native only to Battle Royale, meaning they were focused on the whole of the new UEFN software to expand their game. People didn't take this lightly at all, and not too far down the road, original cosmetics started to lessen and go towards the collaboration route after Disney bought shares of Epic Games. It felt like a complete mess, and people were hoping that some things were kept and most were reverted, but that day still hasn't come, and now we're left with today's shop, with over 17 different tabs and what feels like over 100 cosmetics per shop. The locker UI was updated just a little bit, but it just isn't enough, because it's still impossible to navigate your locker without the rarity. So what now? What should Fortnite change, and how could they create an easier and more universal shop and locker without hurting the collaborations in the game? Well, the first thing that I want to go over is it's probably going to get worse from here. Why? Well, in the very near future, UEFN creators will be able to sell in-game items on their map for V-Bucks. Think about it as a Roblox-style transaction system. By the way, yes, this is confirmed. This may mean that we get another tab in the shop and we'll be able to search by UEFN maps to purchase items, but hopefully it stays only in the individual or team's UEFN map. The first thing that needs to be changed is the copious amount of cosmetics in the shop. For starters, I used 2 words at the beginning of the video: overindulgent and excessive. Nothing feels special to purchase anymore, and everything made by Fortnite feels sort of stale. Not saying that all their cosmetics have been bad, it's just it doesn't have the same purchasing feeling as even 2 years ago, and it doesn't feel as rare. Maybe reducing the amount of cosmetics per shop would give customers more of a reason to buy. Also, by not adding unnecessary items or expensive items like these shoes or kicks. I love kicks, don't get me wrong, but paying as much as a skin for a cosmetic only on my feet just feels excessive. I bought kicks when they first released, but I don't even look at them now. The new Sonic ones that came out are 1,000 V-Bucks, which is $10. They should be max, and I mean max, 800 V-Bucks for all kicks. And that's even pushing it. I'll just get this one out of the way too, but Fortnite, bring back locker rarity. It makes so much more sense for the game, even having it only for skins, back blings, pickaxes, and gliders. It would make people's lives so much easier, and personally, it gives me the good old Fortnite aesthetic. That's the biggest thing. Fortnite still needs to be Fortnite. The item shop still needs to portray the original, no matter how far they dive into UEFN and other separate game modes, so that they can keep their players attached to purchasing items. But now, purchasing feels excessive. It feels like a chore. The locker feels excessive. The mode selection feels excessive. And until Fortnite fixes these issues, sadly, I don't think we'll have the original Fortnite feeling for a while. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and also comment down below what you would like to see changed in the item shop and the locker. Anyways, guys, it's been your boy Tricky, and I'm out. Peace.